this video, we'll be introducing the demand and the supply functions and look at an example to really illustrate what they mean. Our goal is to be comfortable with them, to understand what the formula gives us for the consumer surplus and the producer surplus, and that's where the calc comes in. Alright, so I'm going to consider the market for one single product, and I'm going to have two functions. The first one will be from the point of view of consumers. I'm going to have the demand function. Usually capital DX, sometimes little dx. So the demand function, d of x, will be the price at which the consumers would be willing to buy X unit, X of your product. So d of x is a price, so it could be in dollars, in millions of dollars, in thousands of dollars, and x is units, so that would tell you, like for example, if your product were cars, how many cars would be sold to consumers if the price was $25,000 or something like that. So 25,000 would be d of x, x would be the number of cars. Alright, now second, the supply function. Now, in the supply function, we take the point of view of the producers. So the supply function, S of x, and again, depending on your source, you can see big S or small s. So S of x is again a price. But this time I'm looking at the producers. So you're thinking of all the producers together. So if your product were petrol, if the price of a gallon of petrol was $60, so S of x is 60, S of 10 million barrels would be 60, that means at a price of $60, 10 million gallons of petrol will be produced by the producer. Now, if you start lowering the price, you will have fewer people able to produce at such a lower rate. So that would be S of x. So let's do an example to make sure everything is clear. So let me look at an example only of d of x. We'll do one with both in a second. But let's say I want to look at a new phone. Alright, so my demand function is 1,000 over root of x, and this time it's in dollars. Alright, so let me graph it just so you know. You have it in your notes, so it looks something like this. Y equals d of x. We'll evaluate the function at a few points and find a few points on this curve. So we want to evaluate d of 16. want to look at this situation and try to figure out what this value tells us. So D of 16 would be, according to the formula, 1,000 over root of 16. That's 1,000 divided by 4. That's $250. So remember, D of X we said was the price at which X units would be sold. So this tells you that at this price here, at $250, so at a price of $250, 16 phones would be sold. So let's put that on the graph. Let's say 16 is here. So here I have $250. So this one is the price in dollars. So the y-axis is the price in dollars. The x-axis is the number of units. So in this case, that's the number of phones. So 16 to 50, that tells you for 16 phones, the price is $250 from the consumer's point of view. Now, what if Mariago already had a price in mind? So let's say assume that Mariago wanted to sell for $200. How many phones would it sell? So what we learned in A is for $250, 16 phones would be sold. So let's say 16 people would want to buy a phone. So for a lower price of $200, you expect to have more people, right? If you lower your price, more people will want to buy. In fact, if you look at the curve, it's decreasing. That means if I look at 200, you'll get a slightly bigger, and that number is what we're trying to find. So we have the price, so we have the Y value. We're looking for the number of phones, so we're looking for the X. All right, so we have $200 equals D of X, and we want to solve for X. So root of X times 200 would be 1,000. I'm going to divide both sides by 200. I get root of X is 1,000 divided by 200. That's just 5. So X is 25. So at a lower price, a price like 200, you expect to get more customers. In fact, you get slightly more. So they would sell 25 phones